2021. We begin tonight's broadcast with news of another earthquake here in the Midlands, this time in Kershaw County, centered just a few miles from Lugoff. At first, we were told this was a magnitude 2.7 quake, but a short time ago, the USGS updated the intensity to a 3.3. Joining us now with the reaction from people living in the Lugoff, Elgin area, News 19's Nijah Hood. Nijah, a lot of people out there felt this shaking today, didn't they?
Yes, JR, that's absolutely right. Now, as you mentioned, the United States Geological Survey is reporting that the magnitude of this earthquake was a 3.3. Now, just to put this into perspective, a seismologist I spoke to says that this is typically pretty mild for an earthquake. You're not going to typically see any severe damage or injuries happen. At most, you may notice some things falling off the shelves, but some people we spoke to in the community say they definitely felt that earthquake and it left them pretty shaken.
I was sitting outside when we was working on our truck, and all of a sudden I felt this like big old rumble up under my feet and a boom. And I was like, it did. Hey, look, I thought it was tremors coming up out the ground. I'm not kidding.
I thought the train came.
Hey, my son tried to tell me it was Fort Jackson. I said no, and then his grandma come running out and said, James, come here. She done thought her heater done blew up. I mean, people done felt it from here all the way to Gaston. It was like crazy. It was a weird experience. I've been here since the 80s and never felt that experience.
Yeah, me and my mom were at the Camden Bone and Joint doctor's office in Camden, and it was, just a real sudden shake, boom, rattle, and we didn't really feel it so much. And I just sat there for a minute thinking it could have been thunder, but then I'm like, no, this had to be something different. And at that minute, everybody started talking about an earthquake, and I'm like, you know what? That's exactly what it was.
Now, coming up at 6, you'll hear from a seismologist who says, according to his research, this is the only earthquake on record to happen within the vicinity of the town of Elgin. JR?
Nijah Hood reporting live. Thank you so much. We're going to bring in our meteorologist, Daniel Bonds. Now, Daniel, this was a 3.3, a big jump from the initial 2.7, we're being told. That makes a difference because it can be felt by a lot of people out there as opposed to a 2.7.
Yeah, and we got a lot of reports from all across the Midlands of people kind of getting shaken and rattled by this thing, with some pictures kind of rattling at their houses. I got some messages from Ridgeway, Winnsboro, West Columbia, Rosewood, downtown Columbia, but certainly it shook the Midlands this afternoon at 2:18. Here's kind of a map. There's I-20, there's Elgin, there's Lugoff, and there's the epicenter of that particular earthquake. As we mentioned, 3.3, typically considered still a minor earthquake, often felt but not typically don't have damage, but 3.3, a little bit higher than what we saw over the past few months up towards Lake Monticello. But having earthquakes, little tremors, not totally unexpected across the Midlands. These are the mapped fault lines, these ones in yellow there, and you can see the earthquake from this afternoon right there. It is right on an inferred or assumed fault line, so not a big surprise to have a tremor or an earthquake along those fault lines. As far as our weather is concerned, though, not too shaky. Things have been warm, 70 degrees. Columbia, Sumter, and Orangeburg will be cooling off very slightly into the upper 50s. That's closer to our average highs this time of the year. Looking for a high temperature tomorrow afternoon, right around 78 degrees. We do have a cool down in the forecast. I'll let you know when you can expect that coming up in just a few minutes. JR.
All right, Daniel, thank you. More on that quake now. Today's earthquake coming a week after a smaller one was reported near Ladson in the Low Country. That was a 1.1 magnitude. It wasn't felt. It happened on the morning of December 20th. It was centered about 8.5 miles south of Somerville. In late October, you will recall, there were 7 earthquakes reported within a week period time there. Those quakes happening around the Monticello Reservoir near Jenkinsville in Fairfield County. That reservoir powers a hydroelectric plant and provides cooling water for the VC Summer nuclear facility.